Rome was definitely not built in a day. It took centuries to establish themselves as the giant ancient superpower that we remember them for. In this video, we analyze the origin story of how it all began, the mythical story of Romulus and Remus, passed down over thousands of years. Is there any truth to this long-standing explanation to the founding of Rome, or is it simply a tale fabricated to explain the unexplainable? A placeholder to the truth that has been lost to time. We will explore this mystery soon, but first, the story of Romulus and Remus. Amulius had successfully overthrown his brother Numitor to become king of Alba, and he ordered his brother's daughter Raisilvia to become a virgin priestess. He did this to protect his sovereignty and guarantee no heirs would contest him. This precaution failed, as Raisilvia soon became pregnant. She claimed she was raped by the god of war, Mars, soon giving birth to twin boys, Romulus and Remus. Shortly after birth, Amulius ordered the boys to be thrown in the river Tiber to drown. The servants, sent to complete the order, botched the job, placing the twins in a basket by the outside of the river, leaving the boys' lives to fate. Before the boys were washed away, they were saved by a she-wolf. The wolf fed and nurtured them before the boys were discovered by a shepherd who took them in. The boys grew up to be strong leaders and hunters, later as young men being recognized as noble. They were reunited with Numitor, their grandfather, and they helped overthrow Amulius and reinstate Numitor as king of Alba. Shortly after this, they set out to establish their own city, and the twins disagreed about where the new city was to be built. Romulus wanted to build on the Palatine Hill, Remus the Aventine. They fought. Romulus killed his brother, becoming the sole ruler of the new city of his name. This day, Rome was born. The city was only occupied by a small amount of people and needed more citizens to thrive. And Romulus opened up its walls to the worst of the surrounding areas, encouraging criminals, exiles to join. This produced plenty of men, but a lack of women. And Romulus invited the neighboring peoples, the Sabines and Latins, to join them in Rome for a grand festival. During this festival, Romulus signaled to his men to abduct the young women and take them away as their wives. The visitors were obviously angry that many of their women had been taken and went to war with Rome. The war went on for many years. Romulus's men came under a heavy attack in the city. The result looked bleak for Rome. Romulus called on Jupiter Strata. He swore if he gave them this battle, he would build a temple to honor him. The women themselves, now content with their Roman husbands, ran onto the battlefield, begging both sides to stop the battle. Their intervention worked, and both the Romans and nearby Sabines aligned themselves together. Romulus ruled alongside the Sabine king Titus Tatius. A few years had passed before Titus was murdered in a small town riot, and Romulus became the sole ruler of Rome again. Romulus would go on to shape much of Rome's early legislation, government, and military, remembered as the first and greatest leader of Rome. Did Romulus really exist? Well, many first century Roman historians believe he existed, but were skeptical to believe every detail of the story. Titus Livius, or Livy, who wrote the most widely published edition of the story, believed many aspects of the story has been embellished, such as Raisilvia's rape by the god of war, Mars, was likely a cover-up for a human affair. Livy rationalizes the implausible rescue of the twins by the wolf. The Latin word for wolf, lupa, was also used to describe a prostitute at the time. Makes much more sense that a woman took the boys in as opposed to an animal. To add to this, there are many adaptations published around this time, twisting or changing particular details of the story, such as Remus dying to a group of bandits instead of Romulus killing him, or Remus living on to a grand old age. So no one wants to be related to a murderer. So you can see how some of the details were adapted to suit the hero narrative. Many believed the twins were related to the great Trojan hero Aeneas, son of the goddess Aphrodite, giving Rome divine heritage. Many leaders in the 1st century claiming to be of this divine heritage to consolidate their power and humble the masses. This argument in itself could be its own video, so to keep it short, there's no evidence that suggests there is any truth to Rome's ancestors being Trojan. I believe the 1st century historians have some valid beliefs, or perhaps the want for it to be real clouded their minds to make biased conclusions. There is no conclusive archaeological evidence that Romulus existed, probably never will be, but are we missing something today? 1st century Romans had more unspoiled information and evidence that we do today, but experts today believe it wouldn't have been enough. In 387 BC, Rome was sacked and many writings and recordings predating this time were destroyed. And perhaps some of this information held the key to Romulus's existence. Chances are we'll never know for certain. Many experts would simply claim the story is a complete myth. If it's a myth, why is the story so widely regarded today? Why has the story survived over thousands of years? Is it because it's the only explanation of this time? Or it's a fascinating story? Or is there elements of truth to it? I can't help but put Romulus and Remus in this fascinating position between fact, fiction, and mystery, and it's likely to remain that way forever. If you got some value from this video, hit that subscribe button for more.